Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
At a systemic level, when we talk about the Junior Warden, we're evaluating the interactions between people and objects, between the locations that people are in, all of the kind of sort of systemic variables that you're going to look at, and understanding that any part of the systems that we operate in can only be held under tension for so long before they break. Managing those tensions and understanding when they get to a level of overwork or underwork, such that they are not being able to deliver on the objective, is the systemic sort of perspective when you sit in that chair of Junior Warden operating at kind of the 50,000 foot view. You start to see that certain parts of your life maybe, or the relationships or the organizations you're a part of, are under tension. And if that tension does not get resolved, or at least relaxed from time to time, parts that are perpetually under tension like that tend to break. In systems thinking around this stuff, there will be a design tolerance for how much and how long you allow systems to be under load, under strain, et cetera, et cetera. Some buildings, for example, that are designed to take load in one direction are completely unable to take load in a different direction. This is not uncommon, right? So, for example, gravity pulls down on buildings most of the time. If you pull up on the building, it was not designed for that. If a giant person was to go and grab a building and pull up on it, there's really kind of not a lot of all the load stressors and things like that. They're all not designed for that. And in that case, they're going to fail, and typically they'll fail in situations like this, or in organizations where it's not designed for this. They'll fail spectacularly. When we look at those tensions that we experience in life, understanding where they are and how they get there and what the cause of them are allows us to bring that Junior Warden perspective to the table and say, how can we regulate the ongoing systemic strain that we're seeing so that the organization can essentially breathe? And so this breathing process of expansion and contraction, of effort and rest, or what have you, is vital to the success of any organization as you start to work out kind of how you're moving the overall objective forward. When you see a system where this is not honored, what happens is individuals, for example, and we'll just use people because it's kind of the easiest example. People will spin out. They will not be able to honor the oaths that they've taken, or the commitments that they have made, and they will get tired of that. There will be a certain amount of just weight that they carry. And because of that, weight is never really relieved properly, because that pressure is never relieved properly by the organization or by themselves, right? So when we take obligations, sometimes we raise that obligation to a level of absurdity. When that happens, the organization will experience a lot of shedding of people, right? High turnover, lots of fatigue, very few key players that are doing 10 times the normal amount of work. And they sort of wear that as a badge of suffering and a badge of honor at the same time. When you see stuff like this, it's an indicator that the organization is not optimized for meaningful work. It's that Junior Warden function, not understanding that we need to take these tensions that we're experiencing, both in the individuals in the organization as well as in the organization at large, and relieving those pressures from time to time to prevent overload, to prevent systemic fatigue, to prevent that long-term disillusionment that comes with constantly being under load. And if this describes any organization that you've been a part of or that you're a part of now, go grab your Junior Warden hat and take a look, your Junior Warden apron rather, and take a look and see what you might be able to discover, where rest and refreshment might be the appropriate solution, and how can you implement it at a systemic level to improve the outcomes for all involved.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at masonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.